Hello Internet, and welcome back to more patch 6.1 MSQ. Just had some food, feeling good. Checked on the progress of my Toto Rack upload, 360p still. It's a 20-minute video, it's been at 360p for 5 hours now, something like that. And I have to keep, I look at, all of the other FF14 content creators and thinking, oh, they've already got a video up on this, they've already got a video up on that. I thought maybe if I did the dungeons, then, it'd be something different. But of course, because I record in 4K, they must just not care, frankly. I may as well just start uploading stuff in 1080p. Because by the time YouTube gets round to it, it's 3 or 4 days too late for it to make any difference to its stupid algorithm. It's very frustrating. Anyway, let's do some restricted reading. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume. You presume correctly. I forgot this shell was there. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it is my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Somebody's put a bubble. Shall we? Ishtola is now accompanying you. Come on then, lady. Yes, that video took me 2.5 hours to put together. Which is fine. And then it's going to take God knows how long to process. It just makes it feel like it's not worth it when so much of YouTube showing other people content is speed. It's really frustrating. I don't want to turn this into a moany video, but to think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist but yards away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Alsdal III's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I'd already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Index page. Archon Ishtola and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Follow me, if you would. Watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Obviously. Those stacks don't seem very sensible. Nice remix of the Google Library theme.
If House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
She's so excited. Nod. Are we going to use a system? Or are we just going to wander around and look at the spines? No, I'm going to head for the shiny bits. Today, in a world not my... Untitled Goldsmith's Journal. This is Godbert Mandeville. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger but trembling like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Though you are tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. Yeah, is that how Godbert met his wife? Because she's, I can't actually remember what her name is. Which reminds me, I must catch up with Hildebrand. I need to do the Stormblood ones. Primal Disquisitions. In the year 1564, the 6th Astral Era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age? Yet with no means to verify its pronouncements, how could one be certain they were true? Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. A leather-bound log. Epiphanies of House Demir. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as devised by Nuhashahan, the 9th Patriarch of House Demir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlane's Studium as both a token of our friendship an expression of our boundless admiration. You appear to have located the forbidden volume you seek. Ishtola will need to make the final confirmation. That was easy. Hey, look what I found. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Well, it's a good job we do the job, isn't it? Well done, Demigen. I think you may have found our prize. The question, I wonder, is what this is likely to have thrown up.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Demir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Uh-huh. I recall them saying that she could see the ether in the ink, which is how she reads books. Do they not have a page opening animation? Atomos!
Among the ranks of the Void Sent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard.
Do you mean screenshot failed? I'm intrigued because this is all in Urizen script, so theoretically... Oh, actually, Stola's just reading it to us.
From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations.
Oh, she's not going to read the whole thing.
Surmising that the
Oh, no, she
entity
is.
itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure.
Interesting.
Our findings reveal that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism.
This sounds dangerous.
We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos.
I was not expecting this. That is quite the revelation.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon void scent, has been discussed among academics for years now.
Indeed. Why is OBS struggling to encode this? Something is really up with OBS recently. Either that or my 3090's screwed. After I've finished the MSQ, I think I'm going to open the case up and reseat everything, because it's starting to cause issues. I only noticed it then because when I'm in window capture mode, which is for some reason what I have to use for FF14, I've got a yellow border around my screen. It's not captured on the video, but it's so I know what window is being captured. And it flickered off then.
Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea.
Yeah, huh?
Surely you've at least heard the tale.
I was there. I saw it. Not on this character, admittedly, but I was there. It wasn't fun. It was the devs spawning in whatever they wanted.
A mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive.
Yeah. I think I'd probably have done the same if I was in charge.
It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for.
The question is, what are you going to do with it, Stola?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves.
You'd be here for the rest of your life.
But that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Well, at least she's still got some scruples. And close. A nice little jaunt. Eorzea has been added to the Unending Codex. Congratulations on locating the object of your search. Please move along. Thanks. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atomos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hannish alchemist who'd be delighted to involve herself in our House Doma projects. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. A message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavnir and look for her at the great work. I say that is an excellent idea. All these sallow, sleep-deprived faces, but their eyes still burn with fiery zeal. Some things never change. Ishtola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be a part of it. I have no doubt you will be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Daimir. I never even knew such a work existed. If you should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was? But that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand. I can hardly wait to read it. Oh dear. To think the Daimir were developing such marvellous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atmos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Daimir project that is even the redoubtable scholars of Sharlayan trembling in their sandals, no alchemist of the great work could resist. You're a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big mouth simulacrum once we've built it? Well, so there's a secret void gate and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. Don't go spreading that around, Nidhana. If the purpose of our man-made Atmos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we've finished gathering the components I require. Oh? Sharlayan's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. For such a liquid, you need go no further than the Font of Maya. The ascetics of old once favoured the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you be so kind as to fill a flask of the pool, I will petition Vreacher to join us. The idea that I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we see about it then? We'll meet back here anon. Ishtola pressing forwards with some rapidity. Is she so eager to see Runar again? She did call him a friend. I wonder just how inclined she might be. I've actually forgotten how much time they spent. Was it 3 years that Ishtola was on the first? Oh. Astrally dense pockets. Flask collected. So lazy. I don't even know if this will save me much in the way of time. Hello, Estinian. The boy Murad was glad to hear the news of the Foundation. It means a new life for him and his sister. Archon Ishtola requested that I join you, but of her plans she offered scant detail. Yeah, that's very Ishtola. Oh, I forgot to mention, the Font of Maya attracts aggressive wildlife and you should watch out for them when, you go there next time. My apologies. Thanks. Do you have that flask for me? I certainly do. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, Demetron. I don't know which of these is worth anything. Void Theory. Look at what I came across. Estinian seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may have need of his lance. Right then, now that little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsuya's boat again? Not this time. Once Y'shtola informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akiali. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host, shall we? How did he get there the last time? Need not keep your weapons close at hand. The Guardians will not attack if I am present, so I pray you leave them be. And all this time I thought the tales of Alzadal's horde were no more than drunken sailors' fancies. It is likely not needed with Varshan along, but I held on to the map against the chance we might return to the ruins. Onto the boat, if you please. We can chat on the way there. She seems very impatient. The ship is yours to command. Ah, thanks. We set sail at once. Ah, this is so exciting. Alzadal's legacy. To see the truth of a legend with mine own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vaults. And here we are. I thought we cleared this place of constructs the last time we came through. To seem a few stragglers remained. Poor Vreacher. He really should have spoken with this Sinian before we left. I shudder to think what we've cost them in terms of construct materials. Oh. The Sinians just destroyed the new stock. Oops. Ooh, the mystery music.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty.
The fact that it seems bound with
It may have been
ribbons.
helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
Like Tataru. What are you doing, Stola?
What is it you're doing now?
There is something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance.
Yep.
Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater.
Indeed.
Graha theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the
okay, so she is being prudent.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Correct.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
Say nothing and look meaningfully at Estinian. Well, I'd go myself. Because we can. Because we've got the Traveller's Ward.
And how would you do that? The gate is still too small for any of us to pass through.
Estinian is correct. Which is why I've elected to send a familiar in our stead.
Made of those.
Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same.
You're going to summon a Porksy?
I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
What are you creating, Stola?
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to
Something
summon?
unbearably cute.
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, From mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born.
Toad?
Water, water, froth and foam!
What the? What was with the voice change?
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Nixies. There we go.
Though not my first choice. These familiars I can see
Ah.
have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending. Ritual.
She's embarrassed.
In any case, these two should serve as well.
We got the music from Matoria's Relics, isn't it?
This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption.
Okay.
If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Vishal looks just shocked.
Yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nidhana safe from harm.
And
You
we
say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
always. Froth and foam.
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know. Let us begin, shall we?
Pissing off the sassy cat. I know a lot of people believe that Ishtola has got zero character development.
Into the void.
And they're not. They're not exactly wrong. You know, Ishtola hasn't really changed much. And fade to black. I wonder what changes may have occurred. I guess we have a little chat with people while we wait. Sisters saved me. I will never see Ishtola the same way again. Froth and foam indeed. Every time I come here, it reminds me of that dark portal above the Crystal Tower and the final lash of Asire's tail as she plunged into the void. I struggle to picture Ishtola as a little girl. Easy to believe she sprang fully formed from one of Master Matoria's cauldrons. Yep. Need to wait for time to ensure a meaningful result. Be patient and keep watch for any intruders. On the off chance. It would surprise me if there wasn't at least one battle here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, gold. Hair without the hair mods.
I think we've waited long enough.
Me too.
Nixies, return to my side.
Be interesting to see whether they both return okay or... Ooh. Oh no! Boing, boing, boing. So it's been robbed of its...
Thank you, little one. You did well.
Poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
We're out of time. I must reseal the Void Gate.
That was... Oh!
They're coming through!
It'll be fine. They're imps.
In the name of Al-Zidal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Interesting that the cry for help.
Well, that was a sharp...
Yeah, it's nothing yet, Nidhana.
Gates.
Oh, it's twitching.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidhana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent.
Twitching.
The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
Is it wise to... Does she absorb that ether back into herself?
Graha's theory was correct then.
But worth testing.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation.
Oh.
It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Well.
My apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives.
Another history lesson? Excellent.
The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In
Yes.
Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste and made of that world a useless void.
Is she mocking the way he talks? Nukalai.
You remember Unakalhai,
Oh,
the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad?
that's how you
He
pronounce it.
explained the fate of the 13th thus.
Do you have to have done the Warring Triad in order to do this storyline then? Because that wasn't MSQ.
The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether.
Yeah.
By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. It was Elidibus, as I recall, who rescued Unakalhai's spirit from his final battlefield.
Unakalhai. And yes, it was Elidibus. That makes me wonder then, are those elemental thrones the former champions?
But I wonder if there were others whom the emissary saved from oblivion.
We know there is because we've done the role quests.
The server, Ciela, wasn't it? And you say she was another of Elidibus's pawns?
Oh, because of course we haven't told them, have we? That she was in fact quite important in the storyline. She was the elven swordswoman.
I see. So Ciela, or rather Silva, was beguiled by the same dreams of heroism as Unakalhai.
Mm-hmm.
And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition?
Sure. Yeah, does this
I
make...
can picture it now. The sunless Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
It's also quite possible that the stuff with the Warring Triad, the stuff with Unakalhai, and the stuff with Ciela is only there if you've done those quests. Which is interesting, because if they're not there, this cutscene would play out much shorter and quite differently.
What you have
But that would make
described in
sense.
such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Ah, well.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way.
Ishtola is, in many respects, very Azem-like, isn't she? Heart of every
First,
mystery.
I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos.
The shadows are all
Or
squiffy.
I could if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives?
Bashan does not seem happy about this.
Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
Is he lost in thought of worry or lost in thought of possibility?
We will see you back in the city then.
Stinian has paid notice to it. Seeing the Void's terrors firsthand was an experience, but I doubt fear of such creatures is at the root of Ritra's hesitation. There's yet more quests to go. Once Nidhana succeeds in replicating the mock Atomos, this door into the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realise this is more my endeavour than yours. To be honest, I have no interest in visiting the Void myself. Might we discuss this later? There's something I must do first. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? I at least had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Yeah, shall we proceed with our other preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the void's influence for a prolonged period of time. Just seeing if turning Reshade off was going to stop the flickering of the shadows, but it has not. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemists who created it. Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? Garland Ironworks. An excellent suggestion. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand to the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Come, let us visit their operation of Elga's Reach and commission their best and brightest. It's interesting how prominent Stola is in this story, but... Straight, there we go then. Cool. Jesse's over... Oh, I hear. Perhaps this young man can locate Sid for us. Yeah, good luck. Demagen, what brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid? Certainly, I'll see if he has a moment free. Do we not have just Sid's number? Watch him come rushing out, all haste. I don't know. Sid! Ah, pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. Heading into the void to find a lost dragon. That sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after Meteon and that bloody mess. Alright, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation? Bloop. Ooh. Seems some manner of corrosion has set in around a scratch on its surface, much as the void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds. In which case, our best bet may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? Oh, we have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate alchemical balance. Far safer to dress it in armour. We'll construct a protective casing, one utilising metal alloys with high ethereal conductivity so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. Suit of armour, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. I swear I've never had such a reckless employee. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. Ha! The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. I'd quite like this tunic without the cape. I like the hood. Prefer not to have the cape. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let us return to the great work and see how Nidhana is getting on with the Mock Atomos. Fade to black teleports? Or... no. We're going to have to travel ourselves then. The insatiable curiosity of our alchemists has ever amazed me. I've largely left them to their own devices since we opened the gates together. I hope Nidhana has good news for us.
Ah, hey, Stola. The adjustments are going well, I hope?
We've left it in
It is
capable
a lengthy
hands.
process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records.
Mm-hmm.
What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Al-Zadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list
Aha.
of exclusive alchemical components. And I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos.
And some of them are going to be incredibly difficult to acquire.
I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers
Of course.
insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
Secretive.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
He sounds despondent
And
and...
were you not also fearless? Heedless even, in your determination?
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together.
But he'd given up hope.
But I am Satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Celestinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self. Hiding behind...
Estinian is a surprisingly good judge of character except when he's being swindled.
Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire? We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
I love the helmet of the guy in the middle.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet...
Now you listen to me, Varshan. You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
Who's doing the voice acting? Almost sounds like Alfie's voice actor.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
It's a rescue story, which is an interesting one.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank
And he's
you
brought
for
his
the
sister.
orphanage.
Well played, Justinian.
So much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy.
Why are their eyes so glowy?
And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
Well played, Justinian. Well played.
Take heart and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you. And here I stand, failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzadhan.
Yeah, what is going on with the shadows? I think they're possibly starting to change bits and pieces behind the curtains, lighting-wise. And it may be causing some issues. Or maybe it's just my machine. Because it's not all the time. It's a bit distracting, though.
My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavne for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the Satrap's most essential duties.
Yeah. That would make sense.
While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
That also gives them the excuse for Vishant to go
Take care and fair
to
fortune,
sleep
brother.
at dramatic
Tears will be
times.
shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
Yeah, an interesting evolution of where the story was previously. What? Someone needed to give that boy a good talking to. You don't suppose I'll be reprimanded, do you? I did just yell at the satrap. Convincing others to follow their hearts is not my forte. I would have gladly let our more philosophical comrades take the lead had they been here. I will not squander this chance you've given me. I will find Ashtaya. You surprise me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vitra reach this conclusion. It was for the greater good. The worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night and had travellers believing the palace racked by some unnatural storm. What of your own answer, then? You seem disinclined to venture into the void. When I was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts, his endless rage my rage, and the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Ratatoska's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vitra that pain, then I will follow you. Any other former science we should call on? I'd rather not bother our comrades with aught less than a dire threat to the star. We four should be sufficient for our purpose. Now, on to specifics. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan as such is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. Are they going to add zones in patches, like WoW does? It would be more convenient that had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside Megaduta. Because that would be really interesting if they introduce zones into patch. And, well, I mean, it's not like they haven't done it before. You know, they did it with Eureka, didn't they? So it is quite possible, especially if they're going to do a deep dungeon in a different way. Then they could spend their time on the outside zones for the MSQ. And it would be really interesting, taking us into the void stage by stage. Conducting our expedition out of the Rising Stones would raise just as many questions as recruiting too many scions. At least here in Vazathan, we might be expected to appear road-weary from our local explorations. I was put up in a guest room in the palace while I waited my audience with Vritra. I suspect we'll be given the use of something similar. Accommodating official. I do hope it's not just a cutscene environment. And so we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vaults. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove, make a room or two ready for habitation. Good. Please inform me when you've completed the arrangements. As you heard, we will have you settled in Megaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Ashdaya. Providing comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our explorations might possibly take, or what our chances of success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to make the attempt. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Nidhana. If you have preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. All I need is my armour and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. I wonder, is this going to be next patch, or are we going to... You know what this means to me, Demagen, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveller, an adventurer at heart, this I know. Well, Emmett did tell us to go exploring, so we go in exploring. Ow. Wipe my hand off the desk. Meanwhile, in the 13th. Screenshot failed. Don't know why. Maybe it's just blocked for taking screenshots in. Or maybe I didn't actually change the... No. You have a scythe. Wait, is that... It's not Xenos's... Please. Don't... Oh no, that's not Xenos's.
Unless I am returned.
Thank Christ for that. Leave him at the edge of the universe.
To this world, bereft of service.
Oh, is this Xenos's avatar? Because that would be interesting. That would actually be interesting. As much as I... Let paths unwalked, adventures spur. Pulses quicken, spirits stir. Newfound adventure. Yeah, so it's going to be next patch. Our journey into the void promises to be neither short nor simple, yet I will persevere. I've kept my sister waiting for far, far too long. Okay, so that is 6.1 MSQ done. I thought it would probably be asking a bit much for us to go into the void after they've just delivered the biggest expansion the game's ever had. So it makes sense that they've got this plan for us to go there. And because of that, I expect it will actually be an explorable zone in 6.2. That is my prediction. So we will actually go into the void as a new zone with probably new quests and stuff. A little bit like WoW does it, I would guess, in 6.2. I hope that is the case. But you never know. You know, they said that we'll only be able to go in for short bursts. So I'm imagining kind of an outwards expanding way of getting there from a central kind of portal point. And you can only go so far in the zone before, you know, the corruption holds you back or whatever. You start taking damage over time or something. I assume that's possible. We'll have to see what they do. Yeah, if it's a dungeon, fair enough. But I think a new area would be really interesting, and they'll have had a good 7-ish months from the start of the expansion to work on it by release time. I mean, whatever they've got planned, they will have had it planned for over a year now. Anyway, because they'll have known where the story was going well before they finalised and put out Endwalker. Very intrigued as to where this might end up going. Yeah, was that Xenos' avatar? I like the fact that it's got the hands stuck on its eyes. I wonder if it has any lingering trace of Xenos' consciousness. It would be quite interesting if Xenos' avatar was more interesting than Xenos himself ever was. And to be fair, one thing that I'd hope for is maybe some explanation as to how Xenos got an avatar and became a Reaper and switched jobs. Because none of that was ever explained. I mean, it looked cool in the trailer, but there was no explanation of how and why he became a Reaper. Short of, oh, he needed a new weapon, and that's how it works. So that would be interesting. But yeah, interesting. I was expecting a much less tied in story, I think, than what we've actually had here. And therefore I'm quite pleased, I think, with how it's gone. Yeah. So that's going to be it for my FF14 6.1 MSQ content. I've got, what, four-ish videos, I think, of content there, something like that. Good few hours. 4, 5, probably 4-ish hours and a bit with the dungeon of content. Enough hooks and threads to keep me going. Interesting that there's no Alpha No or Alizé in that. Maybe they're involved in some of the role quest stuff. I don't know. Obviously, I need to catch up to do that. Got the Myth of the Realm stuff to try, And we've got the PvP to have a go at. I haven't done PvP in FF14 for literal ever. Where do you even go to start PvP? Is it at the Wolves' Den still? I'll go and have a look. Until next time, folks, thank you very much for checking in and seeing how I'm getting on. There will be more videos. You'll have the joy of watching me attempt to do raid stuff. I've entered a PvP area and none of these work, which makes sense. Crystal Lion's Call. I think that is the... Yeah, I think that's the next thing. Until next time, have a fabulous day, folks. Let me know down below what your predictions are for where that MSQ storyline is going, and I will catch you all in the Myths of the Realm, which will probably be next. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.